Far From Normal radio show with your hosts, Jay Moss, Bud Vino, and Jesse Weiner.
Yo, I'm cutting it early. It's Bud Vino. It's October 3rd, 2017, 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, my favorite time of the week. It's a little different than as you guys see. We don't have our trusted cohort, Jay Moss, with us tonight. Jay is indisposed, but he will be back next week, and we're going to get into some things that Jay's been experiencing in the past week or so. Tonight, we've got a special guest on, and we also have on my trusted other co-host, and thank goodness, Jesse Weiner. How you doing, Jesse?
Hey guys, little technical difficulty today. I'm so very sorry. I think the week flies by faster and faster a week, but it's going to be a great show. I'm looking forward to talking with Edmund, going from there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I tell you, for people, behind the scenes, we got the audio, Jesse's audio fixed about 5 seconds before we were coming on, so it worked out. And we have Ed Welch on from Disgusted Dads. We've had Ed on before. It was before the show really took off because Jesse wasn't around yet. I believe it was the beginning of the year, this year, so it was quite a few months ago. And I know a lot has transpired with Ed and with everybody in the movement. And so it's going to be exciting to get an update from Ed. And also, Jesse, we're going to talk, I know, inevitably about Jay's situation and yours and everybody's within the movement. And I think what we're going to do the second hour is open the phone lines up and see if we can get, I know a lot of people, I've been inundated a lot, especially because of what they do, how they can help, and they feel like they want to help them. I applaud the people out there that are reaching out and keep it coming. We're going to figure this out together. We're going to get through it. Jay's going to get through it stronger, better, like we always all do together. So, that being said, Jesse, I think what we'll do is bring Mr. Ed Welch right in and get rolling. Unless there's something else. We were going to do things, but that's kind of an ode to Jay. We'll kind of wait until next week and we'll get an update from Jay on the birthdays.
Okay. It's funny, Bud, you mentioned the show. I was asked the other day how I got involved with this show and how I got into doing, radio or blog talk, whatever you want to call it. And as clear as it is, because I kind of just went from guest on the show to to co-host, it all was such a fast whirlwind. I don't even know what the real answer to that question, or to the answer to the question is,
Well, it's funny, because people that maybe don't know, bring them up to speed, Jesse was a guest that Jay brought on. And the irony of it is, Jay and I discussed the show really taking off, that we needed somebody. And we weren't necessarily only making it a definite female, but we were looking at that angle, but someone that was smart, that was sharp, that was articulate, that was a bulldog. And then Jesse came on and fell directly into our lap. So again, thank you to whoever's up there, around there, whatever. We were blessed with Jesse. And here she is, because Jay's out, and now you're going to see her flex her muscle a lot more tonight. I'm going to be honest with folks out there. I'm a little under the weather, feeling a little sick. But I still, I'll never stop. And this gives Jesse an opportunity to really flex her muscle and get to know Ed a little bit, talk with Ed, and you guys can really see what Jesse's made of, because she's incredible. And you're going to see it even more so tonight.
Aw, thanks, Bud.
Yeah, well, thank you. Thank you for being part of the show. You're a major part of it, and we love you, and don't you ever doubt that.
Right back at you.
All right, so, well, thank you, Jesse. That was awesome. And now, Ted, if you'd like to bring on Mr. Ed Welch from Disgusted Dads, I'd love to talk to Ed.
Edmund, you should be right here with us already.
Ed's coming right in.
Oh.
Ed is being fashionably late tonight.
Hello, Edmund.
Hello?
There he is. Mr. Ed Welch, ladies and gentlemen, of Disgusted Dads. Ed, we've had you on before. How are you, my friend, on this Tuesday night?
I'm okay, man. I had the wrong number. I've been calling for like the last 10 minutes, and then I finally had to look at the post, and so I'm calling the wrong number.
Ed, you're going to have to give Ted some slack for that. You know, Jesse and I will just pass that off on other people. That's the wonderful thing. So it's thank you for your tenacity and stick-to-itiveness and continuing to call the show. So we're glad to have you on.
Yeah, man. I definitely wanted to speak to you guys. I appreciate the invitation, and I was so happy to speak to all of you at the same point. I've been kind of confused and mixed up as to where everyone was at. I thought everyone was separate. I didn't know you guys were on the same platform.
Well, see, this is and I know you know Ted, and you saw Ted out at the Million Parent March back in September, and Ted's doing all of our our audio visual things, and we're kind of testing different platforms. We're letting Ted kind of run with some things, and it's working out. It's all just kind of mixing and matching and see what works best for everybody and what the people out there like the most in terms of the platform and the way we present it. So it's working out well. So speaking of thanks, brother. I appreciate it, and we loved having you on last time, so I know it's going to be even better this time. I just want to ask you real quick, what was your experience? I mentioned the Million Parent March. What was your overall feel? Because I got some, obviously the negative is what it is, but there's some really positive things that came from that. What's your perspective?
Well, y'all know me. I really don't pay attention to anything that's negative, so I don't know. I didn't see nothing negative about the march.
Right.
It was a beautiful thing, as always. The participants, the message they were bringing out, the awareness that we achieved from those who didn't know. I got there kind of late, but I appreciated tagging along in the caravan in my truck. Just visualizing you guys from kind of like a little bit of the outside, man, I was so proud. I mean, to see you guys as the public saw you guys, oh man, it was great. It was a beautiful thing,
Yeah, definitely. I saw some really great things. I saw a lot of people coming together, and I think the biggest thing is networking. I saw a lot of people meeting that had only met, through Facebook or online and different media outlets and things like that, and almost like family reunion time for a lot of people. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Coming together. And, So, but Ted mentioned seeing you there, and I know Ted has an affinity for you, likes you a lot, and people within the movement respect you. And you mentioned that you don't deal with the negativity. I think that's what drew me to you. And some people don't know, and you may remember, but one of the first people that I ever saw through social media when it came to the parental rights movement was Mr. Ed Welch with Disgusted Dads. Is the first person I ever saw before anything else, before father's rights movement, anything, was Ed Welch. And I saw his attitude and the way he presented himself, and I really was taken in. So I really got to thank you for that, Ed, because right away you brought credibility to the movement, and it really made me want to be part of it. So I thank you for that. So if you didn't know that, there you go.
Well, you're welcome, man. You work for each other because the movement has helped me. I didn't know about the movement when I started. I thought I was entering into a cave by myself. So I had stepped in and seen so many people that were also fighting. It helped give me the strength and the commitment to like really push forward. So we're feeding off each other. We're going stronger from each other.
Yeah, no doubt, no doubt. It's definitely like I said, I don't know if you've seen, and I mentioned earlier, a lot of people reached out about Jay Moss's situation, and I see, and it's not minimizing Jay's situation. It's just a tragedy. You see these sort of things all the time in this moment. I mean, and I think Jay's biggest thing, and I think you've spoken about this too on your videos, Ed, that I've seen you do in the past. These things, kind of being blindsided when you thought things were going to go your way. Maybe you can help people out there that are experiencing things, Ed. How do you keep that attitude? I mean, as Ed Welch, how do you keep that attitude of positivity even when you get, or you might have gotten rocked by a decision that you really didn't expect?
Well, there's always been my bare basic belief and function is that I'm fighting a crooked system. So, I know a lot of people when in the beginning we walked in with this unwavering trust of the court. So when the court, blindsides you, it's most effective to people because they didn't expect it. You know what I mean? Not because they can't deal with it, just that they didn't expect it to come from the court. And I've had experience with the court that, when it does something that it shouldn't do, it doesn't surprise me. I don't feel that defeated by the process. You understand? It doesn't hurt me that much because I understand that there is crookedness in the court. And so for family court, it just seemed like, you guys are too wrong for me to be upset over what you did to me personally. I look at how the institution is being misused, and that anger at that is what always keeps me driving no matter what disappointments happened in my own personal matter.
Right, yeah. Now, Jesse, I got to apologize. I don't see you on my main screen, but I think I do on my phone. So I thought I lost you. So if you're on, I can see you through my phone, but not through my main screen. So if you're on, take it away with Ed. Ask any questions you want. I apologize. I've been talking Ed's ear off and not letting you in.
Hey, Ed, this is Jesse.
Good night, Jesse.
How are you? So I really commend you on being able to continue the fight, because it's what you're talking about is almost like a desensitization. You're desensitized to the abuse of the courts. You're desensitized to the wrongful rulings, to the biasness, to the just the disgusting conduct of these judicial leaders and the system. So I commend you to continue in the fight. In a way, I wish I could become kind of desensitized to that, because I think I just keep getting more angry and more angry and more angry.
Well, I mean, to be desensitized. I mean, my experiences in life is kind of not what normal people will go through. And I've said this before, that most people, when they fight family court, they have distrust, and they usually just disbelieve in traffic court. And that's their basic experience with having a disagreement with a tribunal, so to speak, a courtroom atmosphere. But I spent too many years in criminal court. I did time in prison, so I know about a court taking away freedoms at a grander, I won't say a grander scale, but on a different format than family court. So for me, family court was like a demotion, as I say. I feel like I'm playing sitting at the kids' table, so to speak. And so I really don't expect people to have that kind of, how can I say it? That familiarity with the court.
Mm-hmm.
And so when you get into family court and people, get hit with that, it really throws them off balance, like I said, because they trusted the court so much. They trusted the attorneys so much. But for me, I've seen attorneys put guys in jail for years, out of their life, 20, 30 years out of their life. And, I didn't have to face that in family court. I just had to face at work being separated from my child. And so for me, it was like, well, you guys ain't doing nothing as bad as has been done, but you're doing worse you're doing about the worst that you could happen to my child. And I'm just not going to take that.
Yeah, I know for me, and I always say, hope for the best, expect the worst, and, you become desensitized. But even at my hardest, meaning my strongest, I'd still get blindsided. As prepared as you think you are, sometimes you're still going to have that time to kind of go, wow. Now I'm past that, but I see it because I've experienced it. So I see it from other people too. And and also people that I feel bad for. And I know I mentioned Mike Whitney and the Father's Nice Group, people like that way back in the day when they saw me, I used to do my videos like a year and a half ago. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is almost over. And I knew they were kind of like, wow, because they knew it wasn't even close. And in my dad, oh yeah, I've got this. And it took, a couple of years. And that's unfortunately is pretty quick. But I see the movement overall. It's when you realize it's set up that way, it's still disgusting. It still makes you scratch your head. But I think you come at it from a different angle. You try to.
Well, we're feeling family court. We're really just feeling a different type of oh man, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm so sorry when I try to find it. We're all suffering from the lack of proper governance. You know, from our leaders, from our country. That's what basically I feel that our entire country is feeling. And we're not being offended. We're more acting out being offended at the response that other people who are offended are not able to give us. Everybody wants to be soothed at their harm, of the harm being done to them. But we're not being offended by the lack of proper representation and proper support by our government leaders, our community leaders, our system, our judicial system, our legislative system. Those are the ones that are letting everyone down in one form or another. And we're just all dealing with disappointment and on a massive scale at our system. You know? Yeah,
I think, Ed and Jesse, maybe you can speak to this. I know when we had Connie Reguli on, I believe we talked about the normalization of things in society. And I think that's part of it. We've kind of accepted, you know, we've accepted certain things as a society, a breakdown of certain things, and we've prioritized the wrong things. You know,
right.
In terms of, and I know Jesse would agree because we've talked about it, and Jay, and you at its core, the breakdown of the family. You know, I know that Tim and Jesse, they work tirelessly to keep that core together, and they'll die doing it. Just as myself and you, Ed, and Jay, that's what it's all about. So, you know, I commend you, Ed. What's going on with Disgusted Dads? I wanted to ask. Now we can get back into the other stuff, but how's everything going with that? I know that's just getting bigger and bigger. You're doing more and more.
Well, Disgusted Dads is moving along great. As you know, I didn't have a plan for it. This is something, like I said before, I just, you know, a friend of mine had convinced me to start Disgusted Dads, and I didn't know that it was going to enter into such a vast arena. And so I understand and I appreciate that people recognize I have a different tone than others. It's kind of a risky tone. I didn't know that it would be so effective as far as appealing to the masses, you know, but I did know that everyone, like I said, I could see that everyone was mad about something, but not, you know, unfortunate that everyone's mad at each other. You know, we aren't making each other mad. Our system is, you know, the system that we depend on as a community, as a country. And so I decided to make sure that is what I kept trying to bring forward, that, listen, people, we're not mad at each other, we're mad at the system. And so we need to deal with the system. So Disgusted Dads has definitely been propelled along with that. And, you know, I wish I could put more into Disgusted Dads, but like everyone else, you know, we got a normal life to live.
Well, yeah, well, I think my hope always for Parents United, and I've said this too, and I know, is that it becomes a kind of a natural thing that, if you know, that just keeps progressing. It seems like it's doing that, meaning like it's kind of taken over a life of itself. You know, people, it's the people's. You know, sometimes we won't even. Right now, since the last show, I've been blocked from posting in my own groups and pages because they said that last week's show, Facebook deemed that it was spam. So I don't know how they did that. But my penalty is over tomorrow, and we'll see if I get put back in jail. But either way, we have ways around that. We've been doing that. Mark Zuckerberg.
Well, I'm kind of confused at that because I would have thought that by now I would have been not just put in a Facebook jail, but just totally banned from Facebook or something.
Well, this is my first time getting slapped on the hand. It's first time being disciplined. I was like a goody two shoes, I guess, and now I've been spanked in front of an audience. So it's humbling. It's humbling. No, it's been a pain in the ass, honestly, because it's obvious what it is, and it's just the more you do things and the more you cut. It's a wonderful thing because a lot of people were upset, and I know Jesse and Jay and we weren't. We were like, awesome. We know we're pressuring him. Now we just come at different angles. Annoyed a little, sure, but we know we're hitting different areas, and there's a reason that after all these shows and then different things, people come on and all of a sudden this happens. It's a great thing. It's a great thing, Jesse. Well, you're laughing about it. I know that.
Well, I'm sorry, Jesse.
No. Go ahead. I was just laughing.
Well,
I was chuckling. I'll tell you.
Well, the thing with Facebook is that the only problem I've had with Facebook was when the attorney for the child and my ex were complaining to Facebook. And so, I've had, one or two, I don't know, I guess put on brief timeout from Facebook. But that was yeah, they put me on a timeout once or twice, but that was in response to complaints that were being filed by my ex and the attorney for the child. And if they didn't bring those complaints into the court, I would have never known that it was them who was pushing the issue with Facebook. So what I did was I really just kind of changed my attitude. I figured out what they were complaining to Facebook about, and then I stopped, which was, I was calling their names all the time and, putting the pictures up with their names. So I had
ours were funny because collectively, Far From Normal, just about everybody got blocked at once, but it was all different reasons. I think Brenda's was that someone else made a complaint. Facebook was just straight up told me straight up, we don't like your shit. We're like no one complained. It was just us. I was like, whoa.
You guys
so I guess tomorrow. I was able to speak a few shares here and there. They didn't catch him, but then they did. Then they really didn't.
Well, one of the things that I think I've been trying to impress this upon people, right? One of the things that I do is I always get my transcript from the court. I've been doing that probably for the last 2 years. Every time immediately after a hearing, I order the transcript. So a lot of what I say or the memes that I post in the pictures, I actually take some of the conversation or the colloquy out of the transcript, and I use those in my words on my Facebook page. So I think that when you depend upon the actual record, which is part of the public record, they can't dispute that or argue that as far as, to violate the freedom of free speech. I don't speak about my ex and her new boyfriend. I don't never bring those kind of issues or words into whatever I do in this movement. I keep it totally about the actions of the system, of the court, of the attorneys, and that's public, that they're open to public ridicule. And as long as I take the words that they said on the record in the court and then put it just in a different public expression, they can't argue that. And they dare not. I've been trying to get them to pull me into court for any kind of libel, slander, anything, and they just won't do it because then they'd have to actually discuss what I said or what I'm talking about.
Well, let me tell you, because this is a very fresh subject for me. I have recently been told that if I continue to talk about my husband's case or the judge or her actions, that she will take all time sharing from my husband for me discussing the case online. Not only that, I actually talked with a sergeant on Monday who was allegedly directed by the judge to call in a welfare suicide check on me for a 3-month-old post 5 hours after my husband's court hearing.
Yeah.
I did it so bad one day. How about, because I find out by experience, actually, honestly, guys, and I tell people this all the time, I really don't know what's going to happen after I say or do something, make an expression on Facebook. I was waiting I would have to wait till the next court date and hear whatever they complained about in court. And most times they exaggerated it so much that it would, I would be able to hear what the legal statutes were, as far as, like I said, slander or libel and all of that stuff. But it's like they tell you how to do what you want to do just in their complaint about what you already have done. Because if they say, well, you did this, and at the same time, if you listen to the argument, they'll tell you, you'll hear that, well, if they did this, or he should have did this, or he violated this procedure or protocol, then all you do is just find out what procedure and protocol they're referring to, and then flow with it. And one day I learned this one day because they had a second call in my case, and I walked out the courtroom and I did a quick post, and about 2 minutes later they called us back in before the court, and then the attorney for the child says, yeah, he just posted, called me a cocksucker. And I'm like, oh wow,
that's awesome. Bobby, Timmy called me a name.
Yeah, so I was like, oh wow, and the thing was that the judge immediately asked, he referenced it. He said, well, what posting are you talking about? And I immediately said, I don't know, because I didn't know, again, with the whole quickness of posting and things like that. So I was like, I don't know what she's talking about. And then the judge had a computer at the bench, so he pulled it up himself. He's like, oh yeah, I see it. He said, Mr. What? He said, you just did this? You just walked outside and did this? And I'm, tongue-tied, like, what?
Yeah.
What? And he's like, yeah.
The judge had to minimize the porn before he looked up at your Facebook post.
Yeah, and then he actually read the post back. He read the post back just, verbatim, and I'm like, oh, shit. He's like, yeah, you just walked out. He said, you just did this during our second call? Here I am back in this place in cocksucker. I was like, oh, shit.
I would have said, Your Honor, if you're going to pull that up in front of everyone, at least give me a love. At least give me a love on my post. Come on.
Well, I mean, I was so scared, and I was so scared that I had got caught that I didn't say anything, but I listened to what the judge said. And he gave he didn't give a detail, but he spoke about the fact that I could speak about the courts because they're public figure. I could speak about the attorneys. He was looking for a mention of my ex's name. And so that's when I realized, well, okay, I can say what I want about the judges in the courts, just don't say her name. So they didn't tell me this, but in the discussion about what I did and how I, violated, I just listened and I said, okay, just don't say nobody's name, but obviously I could say something. And he's the one that told me how I can post, inadvertently. You understand?
Right.
And so I just took it from there. I just kept moving on it like that.
Yeah, but posting inadvertently, while I do understand that, it's effective and it has its purpose in attacking the system, I think in a way it also takes from the accountability of these judges and what they're doing. And they know what they're doing because they're ordering us not to talk about the case or the specifics of the case.
Right.
There you go. So you got to push forward. You got to challenge them on that, because if a judge, if you're going to be prosecuted over what you say, well, then the discussion has to be about what you said and why you said it. That's how the prosecution is going to be. It's going to be specifically what you said, but then the how should I say it? The whole arguments are going to have to include why you said it, who you said it to, and what whether they have any actual responsibility to causing you to say what you said. That's in the prosecution for libel or slander, anything like that. So they scare tactics you, of course, if you say it. And because they're judges, we get nervous. But if you push them, they don't want to prosecute you on what
that's exactly what it is. They try and scare you. I remember my son's mother, her attorney, he said to the judge, he stood up and he said, Your Honor, he was even trying to have my client fire me. He even told her, he said, "Oh, to fire me." I doubt he'll admit that now. And I stood up and I said, "No, Your Honor, I won't admit that. I didn't say that. I didn't say fire him. I said, dump that chump. He's useless." And I said, my wife starts laughing. They almost threw out of the courtroom. And then they said, "Your Honor, he's violent on Facebook." I said, "Your Honor, I'm glad he said that." I said, Parents United, we're like, go on there. I implore you, Your Honor, go in there, get empowered yourself. You could probably use it because we've been here 3 times and you've done nothing but make excuses for these people's abuse. He just looked at me like a deer in headlights.
Yeah.
Guess what? Who won?
Yep. Like I said, you got
to come right out. They'll try and baffle you with bullshit, and they'll try and make you doubt yourself, just like people will in this life. Do your homework.
Yes.
And these people, because they wear robes, aren't all put together. Hey, like I said the other day, you can wear a shiny robe or you can be homeless. It's all about integrity and respect, and I'll emasculate you like I will anyone else. But it's all about respect. If you want to be real and honest, you want to be a scumbag, I'll treat you like a scumbag, whether you're wearing a robe or not. I could care less.
Right. Right. We as litigants are not supposed to come into the court with proper legalese terminology. You know, we're called lay persons. We have no education. We have no training in proper legal conversation. So you can walk into the court and speak as normally as you would at a bar or at a game. You just can't be vulgar or disrespectful. But if you're speaking the truth, actual fact, the court cannot penalize you for that. It cannot. That's not what our justice system is in the country.
Believe so. Right.
Well, that's why when it tries to make you believe so, it does so in the confines of the court. One thing it actually pursues you not to do is take the conversation outside of the court. You understand? That's what, you know, they pursue that first and foremost. Do not walk out of here and say nothing. And it's not, how do you mean to tell me that? Any person can sit up here and Google records from the court and get what we talked about.
Yep.
So don't tell me that I can't speak outside of the court about what happened in the court when any stranger who knows how can come and get this colloquy themselves and sit in front of their you know, home and coffee and read it.
Yeah, well, very much. I'm very eagerly awaiting the arrival of that court order via mail or email, however it may come, because I know I am, as an American, I have a constitutional right to my freedom of speech, and so I am eagerly awaiting the arrival of that motion, with every intention of filing a judicial misconduct complaint.
Yep. I mean, I sat here for the last month. I kept ripping up stipulations and agreements that they were sending me, you know, in exchange for my son. And like I said, part of that was because they were the transcripts. I'm speaking from the court. So you're sending me a bunch of court orders that you want me to sign. You want me to sign to, and that's the thing. You want me to sign and agree to limit my freedom of free speech. You know, I had a 10-page agreement where 2 pages are regarding the welfare of my child, and the other 8 pages are social media provision. And I didn't understand 85% of it, but I just refused to abide by it. And that was the risk that I just kept taking. That I'm not even going to read or try to understand anything that you guys are telling me about. Don't speak. I don't want to hear it. You know, and so that I think worked in my favor, just not responding to them or showing them that they had an effect on making me focus more on what I was saying about them, as opposed to making sure I properly spoke about what they were doing. Right.
Man.
Well, I got the benefit. Honestly, I got lucky in dealing with my son's mother's ex-attorney that I dealt with at the time, because he really was a pushover. I got really lucky. Because honestly, I shouldn't have been able to go in there pro se and devastate him for a year like I did, and then wrap it up after the first hearing with somebody else. I mean, he should have annihilated me. But what he did was grossly underestimate me. And what you need to do is let people do that with you, right, Ed? You know, let people underestimate you, and then inundate them with stuff that's going to mean something. You know, do what you do with what everybody does, because that's what they do. They think they're going to baffle you, make you lose your confidence, and they can lead you around like a puppet. But when they don't, they can act.
I mean, they threaten you with what they fear you fear the most.
Right.
You know, I mean, not everyone can't say that that the court tried to limit them in the same way. The only thing that we can agree on is that the court tried to limit our freedom of speech. But to say, well, we all said the same thing wrong, or we all, expressed ourselves or show ourselves in, you know, the same, what they would say,
same manner.
Right. Then you could trust the fact that, well, okay, we're all doing something wrong. But the court is trying to make us each individually afraid of what they will do to us, you know, the penalty. And when you look at that, like, okay, so you're going to threaten to throw me in jail for speaking my mind, but you're not going to threaten to sue me for, you know, for my cash, or you're not going to try to sue me for my house because I don't have a house. You know, I don't have endless amount of money. You know, so you would only look at me and say, well, you're going to threaten me with jail time. And for someone like me, I'm not afraid of jail time. So then, your threat falls on idle ears, you know, and that's what I see when I hear other people.
They get really thrown off. I know when they were telling me in the courtroom, I said, look, I said, if you guys want to throw me in jail, I turned around and I put my hands behind my back. I said, go and throw me in there. I said, my soup will still be warm when I get home. Trust me.
Yeah.
They hate it because, again, they try and throw your fears at you. That's exactly what they do. It was the same thing with, he's this on Facebook. I said, I'm glad he said that, Your Honor. Every time I'm really happy he said that, and let us right into that, because I think we could all use some empowerment here. It's the same thing when he tries to say, the attorney tried to say I was going to lie. I said what I said to people from the beginning. Anytime you lie about me, I'm going to tell the truth about you and about everything.
Exactly.
Everybody, people that lie, there's a reason they lie. They fear something. They fear the truth on some level. So I just let it all out. I could care less what people think. And if you can get to that level, you're undefeatable. You cannot be defeated because there's nothing I fear except not having my children. So bring it.
Yep. You said it perfectly there. Liars are afraid of the truth about something.
Again, when I've said it a million times that you could, no matter what, when I go out, it's going to be with a big smile, whispering both my boys' names, one way or the other. And no one's going to take that away from you. People can't take your pride away from you. They can't take your name or your education, a few things. And I'll tell you what, again, no matter what Braveheart say at the end? Freedom, right? When they were I'll do the same thing with my middle finger in the air. What's left of it?
Yeah, that's it. I mean that really was such that was such a relief afterwards when I realized that, like, oh man, you guys are just afraid of me saying the next thing that's going to come out of my mouth is going to be more of the truth about what I'm speaking. So let me just go right on ahead and say it. And if you're going to penalize me. I'll come out of jail talking about how this last action was a continuation of the first action. You know?
Well, everybody, when I said that in court, I said, you guys, you've done nothing, Your Honor, but make excuses for this abuse for months. He just looked at me like a dumbass.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it, when you go to court, who actually is doing most of the talking and complaining? The attorney.
Right.
The court really is not trying to get into trying to stop you from saying from your freedom of speech. It's just trying to stop you from saying the way you are saying it. You know, and that's if they want to do a favor to the attorney. This one, I actually had, it was comical, actually, because I had this guy so flustered after that comment, right? I said, no, I said, he actually, her attorney hovered over me like he was, he's trying to intimidate me. And I was sitting back looking at him. And the judge said, counsel, stop it, turn around, like he was trying to intimidate me. You better eat your Wheaties a lot earlier in the morning than you did, brother, because you were 20 minutes late to court at 10 a.m. And I know you're not that before me, and I know you're not right here. He was completely frustrated because he thought that he'd go in there and wipe the floor with me, and I went in there and looked him right in the eye and said, hey, the guy came up to me after the first hearing and shook my hand and thanked me and said he wanted to work with me and then lied all the way through. So guess what? Now you're unemployed. Now you can have fun being a tow truck driver because I said, if you tried to come at me and lie, you wouldn't have a job anymore. How's retirement, brother? Because that case was your last. You remember this name, and you won't underestimate this boy again, will you? True champion. Look into the eyes. Now you can listen to my show every Tuesday because you don't have a job. Yep. Exactly. Yeah. Well, hey, I'll tell you, you got to come at it from that angle because and it's playing the rules right. I'm not breaking any rules. Again, I come at it from a direction of honesty. And again, most people fear what other people think of them. I myself don't have that problem. And the reason for that is I did most of my life. And I got sick of it. You get sick of it of trying to meet other people's expectations. And you got to try and meet your own. Well, you got to believe in yourself because people got to understand you walk into court listen, the courtroom is about the most disarming place that we attend in our lives. You know, if you walk into a park, you have your guards up. You walk into a store, you have your guards up. You walk into your favorite entertainment venue, you still have your guards up because you're concerned about whether you're going to lose your purse, lose your wallet, lose your child, leave your hat. But when you walk into court, you actually put all guards down because you trust the court. So for me to be accused by the court of doing anything wrong, I take that as an affront right off the top, because I didn't walk in here with any ill intent. I walked in here an open book, honest, and ready to be judged by a proper tribunal. So you guys are misaligning purpose and practice.
Yeah.
And so I
want to clarify that.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say that's a great point, because I didn't go in there with all this sort of flair. I mean, I really believe, like a lot of people do, they get blindsided, Jesse. I think when you go in and you believe that if you do the right thing and you say, you're honest, that the court will see it, and then it'll just be cut and dry, and that'll be it. And then you get blindsided, and you realize it's not that the court doesn't see it. They don't care. They want the high conflict. They want the fighting. It brings in the money, Jesse.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The courts throw around this term. It's best interest. So two simple words, best interest. They throw it around like it's, yesterday's peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and it's just the paramount. I'm so tired of hearing the best interest, because the best interest of what they have to look out for is lining attorney and judge's pocket. That's it. If they didn't, there would be it would be like a public defender and self-representation and things of that nature in the courts. That's not, courts aren't designed for best interest. They're designed to make money, and it's the direct trafficking of our children that this system is built on. I had discussed this very issue on a Florida Politics, how it is the direct trafficking of our children, the title for defunding and the system. And, I'm amazed at the ignorance and the people that just don't get it. And again, when I say ignorance, I mean not knowing, not in stupidity. And it's just lack of general education. And really, I mean, that's what it is. That's what it is. It's lining pockets of people who have no business being lined. Yeah,
and then, I think, you mentioned best interest of the child. And I think that's what people get blindsided when they go in there thinking like the court is going to do that. And Ed mentioned that too. He went in there with a book believing that if he was an open book, they would treat him that way. They would treat him like he was a man of integrity. He's acting in that way. And they don't. They take open hearts and they rip them out. What they do is they take that vulnerability and they try and expose it for the any weakness. They don't look at it for the purity that it is. They look at it as a weakness. And unfortunately,
that's why you treat them as such. And you treat them as such because if you get up in the morning on a court date, the day that you have court, you wake up in the morning and you decide before you even go to court that you are going to leave, prepare your best self. You understand that you are going to go to court with the best intent, with the best expression. They are the ones who get up in the morning knowing that the judge, knowing that he's going to put on a robe, a lawyer knowing that he's going to file a motion. And they do this over there. They consider this over their breakfast, that they're going to walk into this institution and they're going to misalign and misuse the intent of our institution. So when I came to understand that the person that I'm facing, whether it's judge or attorney, that you woke up this morning and knew that you were going to come in and start this procedure at 10 a.m. with the worst intention your basis for your motivation today is to lie and cheat. I'm not going to respect you on that, and we're going to make a mess around and stand in a court, but you're going to help, or rather, I'm going to help you expose it for a boxing ring.
Sorry to interrupt. You guys have a caller.
Playground. I'm not going to let you, I'm not going to let you stand and lie as though this is a proper institution.
Right.
And that way, anything that happens or that's said, is weakened. You understand? Their authority, I should say, their authority will be weakened from the beginning because I will not give them that respect of authority.
Well, it shows you, I can tell you how corrupt it is, too, at the courthouse I was in. When my son's mother's attorney he was about 15 minutes late at that particular hearing, and one of the bailiffs waiting said, "Who are you waiting for?" And I said this attorney's name, and he said, and right away I could tell he was a buddy of his, because he said, "Well, I don't think the hearing's till 10:30. I said, "No, it's at 10 o'clock. And he started arguing with me, and I said, "Well, you got to personally, you just seem like you have a vested interest in this." He pulls out his personal cell phone, calls this attorney on his phone from the courtroom and says, "Hey, buddy, you know you're late for court, right?" And then he gets right in there, goes in front of the judge 20 minutes late. Now, this happened twice. 20 minutes late, he says, "I'm sorry, Your Honor." The judge says, "No problem. We all have lives." Can you imagine if I showed up 20 minutes late for the hearing? Yeah. And this is a Rochester police officer said to me, the corruption is brazen throughout that courthouse, like through everything in there. That police officer didn't have a job 2 weeks after telling me this. Like, I have no idea what happened with this officer, but she was great and was honest with me, and I have no idea where she went. But my wife was right there. This guy pulls out his cell phone right in front of us and is real arrogant about it. "Hey, come down the court," and then comes in and acts like, "Oh, Your Honor, I'm sorry, I misread my schedule." No, you're a lazy, incompetent, lying moron who's probably a dumb a bunch in his face. And again, what he did, it's amazing that they go in there and it's just a standard thing. He goes in and says, "Your Honor, he's violent. He's violent toward his children, everything. He's violent on Facebook. He's awful." And I'm like, wow, this guy is really grossly unprepared. I'm ready for this. I was salivating. And it worked out well. But I mean, again, for me, but I mean, it shows the blatant, that's all he had in his arsenal. And he just kept, I'm like, wow, I hope people got their money back from this guy, because I'd be asking for a refund. I don't know if he gives out free toasters with his service, but he should. He should give out something free. He should have. You won't have to worry about that anymore, though, will you?
Yeah.
Free toaster.
And remember, he would think that you are the only one that he has to worry about. You know, he probably has another 10 or 15 clients who believe that he's the best thing walking. And so that's where you have to make them understand that, no, I'm going to make sure that that other people who trust you know that they shouldn't trust you. You know, you're kind of fighting a two-pronged fork.
Yeah, and a lot of these attorneys too, they're good salespeople. You know, they're good salespeople. So you've got to, attorneys are charismatic. They've got to be salespeople. But the problem is some of these people aren't executive sales representatives. They're dirty, sleazy used car salesmen. No offense to used car salesmen that are good out there, but you know what I mean. The type of attorneys that when you're done in the courtroom with them, you got to go home and scrub off in the shower because you feel so filthy.
Right. Well, that's what you have to splash them with their own dirt. You know, because again, the image that they want the public or their neighborhood, their community to feel about them is that they get up in the morning and they go to work and they do good work for society. So you have to show that no, this guy is manipulative. He's a shyster, because the rest of us, we recognize crooks, but we just don't expect to find them in family court. So as along with fighting your case and dealing with the facts of your matter, you also have to deal with the relationship that you have with the attorneys or the court or the judges and the officers, because they are friends. No matter how they treat us in court, that's just their appearance. But after court, they all go to the same bars, they go to the same events together, so they know each other better than we know each other. You go to court, you don't speak to another litigant or another family going through another case. We actually remain strangers to each other in the court, but they're friends, they're family, they're in-laws. They're all of that.
Right. It's funny, and I say that too. We all put our pants on. Go ahead, Jesse. I was going to say we all put our pants on the same way. You know what I mean, Ed? And what I think, I agree with you 100%.
Yeah. So at the end of my husband's trial last year, we walk out of the courtroom and his attorney says to him that he basically traded his case for another case. Yep, that the attorney, my husband's attorney and opposing counsel worked together on another case, and they worked out a deal to trade deals. So our attorney threw our case and won the other case, and vice versa. Yeah. It's a corrupt scheme. Go ahead.
Their whole intent is to make their system work efficiently, and we just have to act in a way that doesn't let it move so smoothly for them.
Yeah.
Now,
as we move towards family law reform, when we get a new governor in 2018, 2019, we will be pushing for caps on family law attorneys and, vexatious litigation. The goal will be to cut it out along with alimony reform and having our awesome Senator Tom Lee push through a presumptive equal time sharing bill. And our goal is to attack these attorneys and to shut them down, to stop the business of trafficking our children and making money off of them.
Yeah, I'll tell you, as much as we say things, in terms of the bad attorneys out there, there are some good ones. And
they're great attorneys, great attorneys.
Number one, and the first one that comes to both of our mind, I know Jesse is most Melissa is incredible, and also Matt Calco, I know, and my Steve. There's some good ones out there. And I think that, it's just like anything you hear, when someone's being bullied almost, until the good ones, start standing up. It's just like, it's just like with anything. The good ones need to stand up against the bad ones, so to speak, if you put it that remedially. And I think it's starting to happen more. I think it's people, but I think
no problem. That's okay.
How egregious and just brazen and just corrupt this is, to where they say, no, I worked hard for this. I believed in it. I think we're trying to stand up more than they were, I believe. I've seen more of it.
Well, I mean, in all of this, remember how, every officer of the court, I believe, started their first steps with a genuine intent on, goodness for the system and for society as a whole. They all say that. And even the bad ones were good in the beginning until, for some reason, they just decided to fall into the trap of the system. But the good ones who are still there, they're actually overburdened. They're actually kind of entrapped in too much other muck, as they call it, around. And so they need us, the litigants, to rebel and make it easier for them to come out and either act appropriately, because we can't really expect them to denounce their co-workers and their fellow judges and fellow lawyers, but they will act. We empower them to be able to act the way they want to, and have other ones, act in the same way. I mean, I met the judge that the last judge that I had, I believe that she was looking for an opportunity to act like a proper judge. She just needed to come across a case that allowed her to do that without falling victim to the same practice and policy of just prolonging the case, making the decisions that are beneficial to the interest of the attorney and not the interest of the child. And so, that's why I speak to litigants about act a certain way in court, and you'll see the right judge or the right attorney will take that opportunity and do the right thing for you, even if it's a small measure, but it'll allow you to take a better step forward.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely, Ed. Well said. I think it's baby steps, and I think we mentioned Jay at the beginning of the show. We love you, Jay. If I didn't say that directly.
Hey, yeah, good night, Jay. I'm sorry, I forgot you on.
I didn't catch that last part by Ed, but Jay's to the people out there, and I know, like I said, we have these good stories, and then the disappointing ones like Jay's. But you're going to see Jay get through this stronger, better, and even more aggressive in how he approaches this. And it's all a learning experience. You know, it's disappointing on a lot of levels for a lot of us, but you morph, you learn, and then you go in and you go at it in a different angle, and that's how you win. You persevere. You keep to it. It's not over till you say it's over, folks, and Jay's long from over.
Yeah, I mean, we got certain jurisdictions do have an unfair advantage. I think I'm lucky being in New York City, where there's so many of us, you know, citizens, and there's always something going on. There's always an argument. There's always a corruption. There's always a scandal going on. You know, I think I've been lucky enough to be caught up into that dysfunction that a big city has. Whereas, from what I'm understanding, I see that smaller jurisdictions, they have a lot of power. People have so much familiarity with each other that it's easier to abuse the local citizen, because, you know, their only recourse is kind of limited by the population. You know, I think that it would be hard pressed for a judge to try to come after me when I'm surrounded by so many people that are going through what I'm going through. You know, and when it comes to family law reform, that's one of the things that I try to explain to family law reform, is that we're bigger than we believe. It's just that, you know, the court has us so focused on our class and where we are in our lives and our communities that we don't associate our problems in one community with the same problem in another community.
Right.
You know, and so we don't search out the support and the oh man, what's that word when two different armies come together. You know, we don't look at the army on the other side of the hill, so to speak. You know,
right?
We just
I think you're making a great point, Ed, and that's we talked about it a little bit at the beginning, and Ed here unfortunately has a time constraints and restraints. It's about coming together. It's about recognizing our differences and uniting. And unity doesn't mean always agreeing on everything. It means recognizing your differences and coming together for the greater good and winning the quote unquote war, as opposed to, you know, the little battle is going to get done. And if we all come together in that way, it will happen. Ed, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Every time I talk to you is a joy and a treat, and we're going to do it again.
Yes, anytime, guys, anytime.
And thanks.
You know, I mean, I'm not actually going. I don't actually have to go. Just give me a moment, real quick, son. Come on, take a shower. Time to get ready. You know, I can actually hang out if you guys just kind of. I got to give some directions to my son to get him ready for bed, but I can hang out and listen.
And that's completely fine. And you know, it's funny. Hey, the show, we're all parental rights and things, and you're doing that for your kids. So we're all about that. So hang on as long as you need. You're always a friend of the show, Ed. We love you. Keep up the good work. Keep you and first and most importantly, keep being a great dad. It's an honor to know you. You are a great dad. You're a great man. Much love, brother. And we're gonna meet and hug soon, my man.
Same here, bud. I mean, you're right there. You know, I love you too, Jesse, Jay. I mean, you guys have been so inspiring to me as well, because I really was scared in the beginning, and you know, I'm not anymore, because you know, I got to know you guys and know that I have fellow warriors and advocates out there. You know, we all are great parents,
right,
just by what we're doing. It would have been easy for us to walk away. It would be easy for us to just throw our hands up, but we're not.
Ed, do you have a website where I can order one of those T-shirts?
Oh yeah,
yeah. It kind of pops up. Like, you know, I keep getting kind of like temporary help because I don't know how to do this stuff myself. But you know, I have a couple of shirts available. Like, you know, you guys send me an address or something, I'll send it right out to you. But we're trying to build the site.
And let me know. I'll pay for 3 of them. You just send them to. We'll get you one of our addresses or whatever. Get all 3 of them. We'll wear your Discuss the Dad shirts on the show at one point. The 3 of us.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I mean, if you guys know anybody, like I said, I didn't expect this to be so popular. But if you know anybody that knows how to set up those kind of manufacturing and that kind of stuff,
yeah.
I'll make it available and everyone can have it. That's one of the things I would love to give away shirts. I get talked a lot about. I sit and give shirts away. I need to sell shirts, but I'm like, listen, we're trying to progress the movement. We're trying to show a message here. I don't want to get rich. That's not my point. My point wasn't to get into this to make money. It was to get my son, and I have my son. And so, really, I don't mind just helping. So, by all means, the shirts will be there. Anyone that can help get these things, made and out, I appreciate it.
And to the listeners out there, this is why I love Ed Welch. Once again, Ed, thank you so much. We love you. I'm going to privately message you about an address, and we'll get some cash out there. I know that's not what it's about, but you got to eat too, and we appreciate it. We love you. Keep your chin up, and I will. Awesome. Well, I think Ed might be gone now, Jesse.
Oh, no. I'm here.
Oh, he's right there.
It went dead for a moment, but then you came back. But yeah, thank you. I'm here. I love you guys too. And I'm not going anywhere, but you might hear me just give a little direction to my son there. Only about 20 minutes and he'll be in bed and I'm back to you guys.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Yeah, so now, Jesse, I think what we're going to do, Jesse, is take a little break, just a 2-minute break. Take a breather. If everybody else there, Ted's going to play a little tune that doesn't infringe on any copyrights, so we don't get edited or spam
or banned.
Get our hands spammed, Jesse. So we're going to take a little break, a little bit of techno tunes, so we can all breathe and maybe pee, Jesse. Let's do it.
How about a Friday?
All right, Jesse, you are back on.
I think I'm back on too.
Yep, you're back on too, bud.
Okay.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Yo, and yo, but be no. October 3rd, 2017. We're in the second hour. And I know Jesse Weiner is with me. Thank the good Lord that Jesse is with me. And I think what we're gonna do, Jesse, is we had discussed another guest on the second hour. And because of the situation with Jane, a lot of people want to discuss different things. We're going to open up the phone lines during the second hour. How's that sound? I know we're excited about that. We've already got a lot of people that have been writing to me privately through Facebook and other avenues trying to get on. So appreciate it. So Jesse, awesome first half. You hearing me okay?
I'm hearing you okay, bud. Yes, definitely. I really like Ed. I've never actually had a conversation with him or anything. I've seen his awesome shirts, which I love. I love those shirts. I've seen them at the Million Parent March. I've seen them at the rally in DC last year. And it's just really two such powerful, impactful words, just disgusted dads. It's great. I love it.
Well, it's funny because, like I said earlier in the show, he was one of the first ones. I don't know what I did. I probably just Googled something, and right away I saw the Disgusted Dads logo. I don't even know how I stumbled on it. But it didn't take me too long before I was speaking with Ed. He was real personable, and we had him on. Like I said, I knew you'd like him. I had known Ed before, and so did Jane. We had him on. I think it was like it was very early on, beginning of the year, of this year, and he was awesome. The unfortunate part when we had him on the first time, it was straight through Blog Talk. It was at the inception of the show, and the audio wasn't the best. So Ed has a lot of great things to say, and hopefully it was a lot more clear on the audio this time. It was real, Jesse. It would behoove you, as I use that word a lot, to get to know him even better. And we are going to get some of those shirts. He did a great job on that logo.
Absolutely. It's funny. I'm a clinic supervisor in where I'm at. We have a lot of patients, like 900 patients a day. And several of them, every Friday, I wear my idol, Melissa Isaac, I wear her shirt. So many of my patients will say to me, oh, I knew it was Friday, because they always know Friday I'm in, Real Women Support Fathers' Rights, and my, jeans, and I'm just around the office. So now I have a new shirt to throw in there with the same theme. Because until we here in Florida pass shared parenting, equal time sharing, the presumption of equal time sharing, I'm going to wear that shirt every single Friday and until that happens.
Yeah, well, I think he's got the white ones with the black and the white and the red. I mean, and then he's got the black ones with they're awesome. Yeah. So my point is, not only is it a statement, Jesse Weiner, but it's fashionable. You can wear it with jeans, or you can wear whatever. You can just wear it, whatever. No, it's great. And I think Ed's someone who puts his heart out there. He just went and did what his heart said. He just went out there and did it. And I tell you, he was somebody I looked up to from the beginning. There was a few people like that. And I talked to Ed pretty early on. There's some people that really influenced me, and he's definitely one of them. So when we had the opportunity, and I knew Jay was going to be out, and you hadn't ever had an opportunity to talk with Ed, he was definitely someone we had to bring in. And I know that our technical director, producer, Ed Fogg, has an affinity for Mr. Welch as well, and just saw Ed at the Million Parent March, and they spoke quickly. And I know Ed is looking forward to seeing Mr. Welch again. So we will all meet someday and have a tip back a brew or two, and I'll laugh about this in the future.
Yeah. One of the things that Ed said, and kind of Mark Ludwig, who said this earlier, and really this is where you find out the true people in this movement who want change, and then the ones who are in it to make that buck, is there's no money in this movement. It's all about your passion, your dedication to change, to bringing equality to our children, to understanding our fundamental rights as parents, and to implementing legislative changes to ensure the protection of those rights. This isn't about, this movement isn't about money. this is truly a selfless yet selfish movement. So
right, that's a really great way to put it, Jesse. It's a selfless but selfish movement, because you've got to be a little self-centered in it, right?
Absolutely.
Right,
absolutely.
you have to. Well, at our
we want our children. We want our children.
Right. People can call me selfish all they want. Sure, absolutely. I'm as selfish as can be. I want mine, right? Yeah, and that's what it's about. You know, people. We're all. There's nothing wrong with being a little selfish, and nothing wrong with being a little having a little healthy narcissism. I want to thank you to Nathan Cruz out there. Thanks, brother. Nice comment. He just made me smile. Good dude out there, Nathan. Yeah, it really is. You've got to stick to your goals. Stick to keep your eye on the prize, and just go for it no matter what. I know that can be hard. And again, we mentioned Jay a million times. We will before the end of the show. What people are witnessing, I think it's when you see Jay too. A lot of people that have gotten to see Jay, and he gives a picture of consistency. You know, he's a strong dude. And when you see him emotional like that, I think it throws a lot of people off that really look to him for that strength. And people see that vulnerability, and you know what it shows me? He's even stronger than people know. Because I've seen Jay, and a lot of us have had the privilege of talking to him at 3 a.m. This is a good man. Jay Moss is a good man. And he's with the rest of us. To see him put his emotions out there like that and get mad, and also the fluctuation of emotions, it makes me respect him more. It makes me respect him more, because you see certain emotions in him that you haven't always seen, and it humanizes him to some people that they can relate even more. And again, we talked about this before. Jay's going to get through this, as everybody out there is going through similar situations. You just got to stick to, again, Jesse talked about it, being selfish. Be selfish. Remember what that goal is. That's a great point, Jesse. Remember what that goal is. Stay focused. Tunnel vision, Jackson Robinson.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's awesome. So now, Ted, I think we probably have some people on hold.
We do.
I know we have. Awesome. You go funnel them in whenever you want. I will say this. I'll preface by saying, and I hate to have to do this because everybody that's going to call in is awesome, but we will not hesitate to dump. So please be respectful. And again, we've got Jesse Weiner on, a lady. But I will say Jesse will probably kick your ass a lot more than I will. So we'll go with that. I have to be chivalrous here, Jesse, and be a gentleman. Although you'll probably step in front of me and start wailing away. But okay, we'll bring in the first caller.
The first caller is 5587. Welcome to Far From Normal.
5587, go, caller. I think I might know who this is. I can feel it.
Oh, could you take a guess?
Sounds like Eric Sinderman.
It is. How you guys doing tonight? It's good to hear everybody. I just got on about doing well. I just caught you about 10 or 8 minutes ago, so I'm not too up to speed what was all being talked about, but it's good to hear so many people on tonight.
Yeah, brother. Hey, thanks for calling in. And I'll tell you, you don't necessarily need to know. I know you're up on a lot of things. If I can ask you, Eric, what have you been up to? Because the last time I spoke to you, I think was when you called in. I believe it was when we had Mark Ludwig on. I could be mistaken.
You know, I don't recall. It was about a month ago, I think I talked with you guys.
Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, that's great. What's been going on, pal?
Yeah. Not much, but actually I was calling to say, pass word if there's anybody, Midwest or, further east. We're, a couple of us are going to be heading back out to D.C. this weekend, and if anybody wants to do some live footage, video, things like that for their, either for their group or just messages for their kids and so on and so forth, we're going to just be kind of putting heads together and coming up with some ideas and just, surveying the land again for, other ways we can advantage the march the following, next year and so on. So I just wanted to kind of throw that plug out there.
That's great, Eric. I don't know if you know Jesse Weiner, but I know that Jesse, I'm not sure if you were actually on the show that Eric called in. I can't recall. I remember there was a couple because of the hurricane. I think you may have missed that show because of the hurricane that he was on, I believe. I could be wrong.
That's what I was going to say. I don't recall speaking with you. I did have every intention of going to Washington for the Million Parent March, got my ticket, and then we got this great Hurricane Irma. And I was lucky enough to spend 5 days with no electricity with our kids playing on board games.
Yes.
So it was a fun adventure.
Jesse was considering riding the Hurricane into DC, but she thought better of it and stayed home and played games with her family, which looked great. But I did say, I think I saw you guys play Monopoly. And that's my wife's good at that, but she's rabid. She's really, I haven't played with her in years. There's a reason. We're still married. If we had, she kicks my ass too.
Well, you know, I've always wanted to know. I got a question. Did they really deliver the mail? Are they able to do that through the hurricane, or is the post office just lying when it says the weather doesn't affect them?
That's a lot. We didn't have mail for 5 days. We had
See, I knew it. I knew it.
Eric, what is it, guys? Isn't it like neither rain nor storms?
There's sleet or snow. Yeah, I guess they didn't say hurricane. You're right. Okay.
Well, you know, outside of our house, we had one pole and 2 giant transformers just laying on the ground. So it wasn't even a matter of just we didn't have electricity. Like we had these huge boxes or whatever you want to call them, I don't know, on the ground. So that was fun. I was getting up at 2 in the morning to go to work so I could get ready there so I could keep working.
Going around the landmines in your driveway so you get instantly to work during a hurricane. That's dedication. That's dedication. Hats off to you. Yeah. Now, Eric, yeah, it's awesome that you're going back out there to Washington. It's all about networking. Now, are you going back out there just proactively, or did you meet some people in Washington and decide to go back there with people you met, or how did that work?
No, well, I just I got some personal reasons. I need stuff I got to put out for my kids, but also some stuff that we wanted to put out for race, not for profit, and then also just I've mentioned it to some others. I don't know if they're on listening or not, but I'm hoping maybe they'll give me a call. Most of them have my my personal number. We're gonna try to head out of here. I mean, we're gonna try to basically make the drive Sunday, you know, midnight type thing, and get there early in the morning. And if we can spend all day there, we'll just head back. But if something comes up, if a few of the people that are still, you know, we're out there, still out there, we'll be more than happy to hook up with them, and then maybe on Monday do some networking over in the Capitol or somewhere advantageous, you know, with the president or the vice president. So it's all up in the air. I mean, we're totally open to whatever the Lord delivers that day. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like your attitude. Just take it as it comes, right, and just enjoy the ride. Hey, good for you, Eric.
Absolutely.
Let us. What are you going to be there again in Washington again? Next week?
I'm sorry?
When are you going to be out there in D.C. again?
We're talking about leaving here. I'm in the Chicago area, and we're going to be leaving here either late Saturday night, 10-ish, something like that, or maybe midnight, and, ride through Sunday. And the goal is to arrive in D.C. Actually, I'm going to try to get there about 6 o'clock, just because last time we went, we got there early enough, and it was really cool to see the sunrise behind the Washington Monument and all that. So I thought that'll make for some good photo, op and stuff like that. So,
hey, good for you, Eric. Have fun out there, and hopefully you make some more connections and just keep making waves out there. Good for you, brother.
Well, you guys keep up the good work. I enjoy you guys really reaching out there and pulling in new listeners, and just keep up the good work, guys.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that more than you know, man. We really do appreciate it. Thank you.
Take
Eric
care, guys.
Scissorman. Awesome. See Eric in Washington, and watch out for his stuff. I'm sure he'll have some nice pictures out there, Jesse, with the sun coming out.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that one, but we'll try, right? Take care, guys.
Yeah, exactly. That's all right. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. Sorry about that. Awesome. Well, thanks, Eric. All right. So now I know, Ted, we have a few other people calling in because my phone's blowing up on a personal level here. So we'll go ahead and put the next person in.
Next caller is 0077. Welcome to Far From Normal Live.
0077. That was Ray Bork's retired number, the Boston Bruins. So that's a lucky number. Go ahead, caller, Ray Bork. Who is this?
Well, I'm not a hockey fan. I'm definitely not from the Boston area.
Is it? Could it be the dropper, the bomb dropper, Jim Cropper? Could it be the one, the only?
Hello, Jesse. Hello, Bud.
What's up?
Hi.
Hey, okay, I called in because from your guys' first hour. I've never spoken to Edmund personally, but I do have conversations from time to time with CJ. But so he was talking about some of the things that the court brought upon him. I've learned through extensive trial and error, I guess, and through relatives. But if you say, okay, to a police officer, to the courts, or a post, as long as you say, in my opinion. So if he would have said in that post, in my opinion, that dude's a cocksucker, as he put it, then okay, because they can't say anything about your opinion. So as long as you cut that, then there's nothing they can really say. Just a little, thing to drop out for everybody who wants to post stuff. And the same thing, like when you go to the courts, so you don't come off like a smartass. If you say, you should be aware of, and then you cite like baseball or something, that way it doesn't seem like you're trying to rule the court in that fashion. Mr. Howlett taught me that one. So, yeah. Yes, Chris Howlett, who just had an awesome little victory yesterday.
Oh, well, Jim, please. I'm not aware of that, so please fill us in, Jim. I'm not aware of that at all.
Look, I will let Mr. Chris Howlett. I'm not going to steal on his thunder. They went through yesterday in Utah, and on his page for his kids, man, there's a big thumbs up. So I'll let him, because he's way smarter than I am. Not even going to try.
Chris is smarter than a lot of us bomb droppers, so don't feel.
Man, he's insane.
Yeah, he's awesome. So, Mr. Howlett, Bro Howlett, if you're out there, call in. We want to get an update. If you may be listening, I'm sure he's out there somewhere. He's my Eddie Murphy brother. That's a personal thing that he and I can tell you, that I know about. Jim, awesome, man. So what else is going on with you, pal? I know that you've been busy yourself, and I know Jim is very much into the movement, into all the goings on and all the, Jim's a smart dude in his own right. Trust me, I've had a lot of private conversation with Jim. He's a good dude. So I'm glad to have you calling in again, Jim Cropper, the bomb dropper.
I'm glad to be on, brother. Yeah, actually, I'm working on my appeal, and so I'm kind of waiting on that. I'm in a limbo situation. I had to request the transcripts early on, in the very beginning. You get a packet you fill out, and they didn't do it. So I had to fill it out and actually give it to them in writing, and they tried to give me the runaround saying that we don't have a certified court reporter. I said, well, that's not my problem. You can go ahead and give me a letter with the judge's signature that shows where she's now, again, trying to control the narrative of this case. Well, now all of a sudden I get a letter back and it's stating that due to a clerical error, they're not going to go ahead and put my notification in the last one. So talking to Chris Howlett, we believe it's like we're going to admit we screwed up and just didn't do it the first time. So having fun. Working on the federal lawsuits against the attorney or the judges and all of the fun people that make them love me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, if people that don't know, Jim actually, I've known Jim for a long time now. Jim's been pretty heavily involved in the movement, and Jim has a very low tolerance for bullshit. So you'll see Jim in and out of the movement. Jim's a great guy, huge heart, and he really lays it all out there. And he's definitely an asset. He's a good friend of mine. He's one of the rare ones that has seen my frustration to the point of tears. Very rare ones that have seen that. And so there's something to be said for that, because at my lowest, Jim and I, just like with anybody, at my lowest, though, Jim Cropper has always been there. Whenever I was real low, he's the one who really stepped up and made sure he flagged what he called. People don't always know that. They think it's always maybe me doing that. At my hardest, so people might wonder, well, that's why you've got a loyalty. Thank you.
Well, see, that's the thing. I think the reason that you and I have gone head to head so many times, but also the reason we get along, has a lot to do with the fact that we are both very alpha, very unafraid to speak up. You're breaking up real bad, buddy.
Yeah, real quick, if you'd let me interrupt for a second. Jay is popping in and out. So I'm trying to keep up with the cameras. Jay, if you can hear me, if you could keep your camera on or keep it off, either way. But going in and out like that, I'm going literally insane trying to keep up with the cameras.
So Jay, you said Jay Moss is?
I think he's still here. Jay, are you here with us?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you just fine.
There's my boy. There's my boy.
Yeah. All right. So yeah, interesting stuff already that I just heard from Jim Cropper. Yes.
Jay, I'm sorry. You know, it just wasn't right with me. Can you just do a real quick opening, real quick, and just to say, this is Jay Moss, Money Moss. We love you. It isn't the same without you. We're missing you here. The energy is so awesome to hear your voice, Jay, man. Welcome.
All right, brother. All right. Yeah. Definitely, this is the Far From Normal radio show. Absolutely. I just had to take a hiatus. I had my son have a event tonight. So hopefully I'm not breaking up too bad because I'm kind of just walking down the street, getting away from the traffic here, just so I can come on real quick.
Well, don't get hit, Jay. That would be one hell of a tragedy, wouldn't it? It would be really feel bad, and then I'd have to blame Jesse or Ted or somebody else. It would be horrible. Don't do that.
Absolutely. You know, well, there goes the hunger strike, right?
Yeah, that's right. You're getting out the easy way.
Yeah, hey, you know, I can eat a whole car right now, I think, probably on my first day. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah,
but
Jay was pretty fired up. He was about to eat breakfast. He pushed his breakfast plate aside and just ate the whole damn breakfast table. That's how motivated, ready he was. How you doing, brother, man? You're sounding.
I'm feeling okay, but right now I'm kind of out by a cornfield. So, yeah, I'm tempted to eat an ear of corn off the stop. So,
we are, a short way away from Halloween, and I may watch Children of the Corn tonight, the original. I know that you say that. So thank you, Jay, for putting Children of the Corn in my head.
Absolutely, brother.
Thank you. So, Jay, you're coming back next week, right?
Yes, I will definitely be back next week. This was just kind of a 1 week hiatus kind of deal. And unfortunately, in the process, we kind of got a lot of bad news from the courts. But, that's how things are going to happen when you've got a fraternity like Jim was speaking about. You've got a fraternity of lawyers that are basically bypassing the system. What they're doing is, as these lawyers and these judges are all getting together, now it's become part of the legislature. What you see out there within the legislature is a lot of these lawyers that are taking office or seats within the legislature. They're coming up with laws to protect their good old buddies in this system. And what we end up having in this country is we have 23 suicides a day for our veterans. Now, the group called Second Class Citizens put out a report that said 3/4 of those go through the family court system.
Yep.
That means 17 suicides a day among our veterans.
That's right. And 3 of them come from Florida.
Wow. And so obviously that's why I picked a day of 17 to coincide with our veterans as a time frame that I feel like would be well served if I went on a hunger strike for that amount of time, at least to honor those that we have lost, at least to pay my tribute and my respect as a soldier to those who I have that are fallen brothers and sisters in this movement. And I thought it was very appropriate to do so. Now, do I do so with the utmost willingness to be concentrated on my health concerns at the same time? Absolutely. I will be drinking water. I will be taking vitamin supplements in the meantime. But as far as food or consistency of food, no, I believe that I'm going to try and do this to honor our veterans, and that's the best way possible I can do it. Not only for my case and the veterans issues that I'm going through in my particular case, but also for every other veteran out there. I think that we need to step up, and if anyone wants to join me with that, I'd be more than willing and happy to tell you what I'm doing and keep you updated. But as I said before, I don't encourage anyone to go down this road. Please seek medical advice before you do something like this. I already have consulted with my doctor and made sure that I could definitely do this.
Well, I'll say this, Jay. First of all, a lot of respect. And I know there's been a lot of buzz around your hunger strike since you announced it. And I'll say this. Jay and I have had private discussions about it. He knows my feelings on it. And my feelings, first and foremost, are go with what your heart says. And I'll tell you, and a lot of people I saw, they said, oh, this will do no good and this and that. Well, let me tell you something. You've got to go with your heart. I say that all the time. It's not how it looks to everyone else. It's how it looks to you, Jay. It's how it looks to you, everybody out there. You've got to go with your heart, Jay. And I said that health concerns, and you know my opinions, but my opinion is that you're an amazing, strong man, and you've got to go with what your heart tells you to go with, and we're support you 100%.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And obviously, my thoughts and my issues on this one are all about what kind of legacy do I leave behind for my children? Do I leave behind a legacy that says my dad didn't stand up for a damn thing, or do I leave a legacy behind that says my dad stood up for everything and did it for the right reasons? And that's why I'm doing this. It has nothing to do with pleasing anyone or trying to gain respect or any type of leadership role or whatever. That's not what this is about. This is about me leaving behind a legacy that my kids can be proud of, that dad stood up for the right things.
Yeah, and we talked about that. We talk about it all the time. We talked about it on show 1, Jay. I mean, it's all about self-respect. The only kind of respect that matters. And for me, it's like you said, what your kids are going to see. For me, I could not, in my mind, years ago, justify, because I knew the day would come where my oldest son came to me and said, did you do everything you could? And I couldn't say yes. And if I couldn't say yes, then I was not done until I got that kid. And until I got that kid, there was nothing I wasn't going to do. And guess what? I got that kid. And you know why? Because I did it with love. I did it with love because it was never focused on hurting his mother. It was about holding him. That's why I quote unquote won. When you go at it from that angle, it doesn't matter if someone, I hear it all the time, well, so-and-so deserves it. Well, guess what? Karma comes for us all. Karma does come for us all. And I'm telling you right now, if you live right, you do things from a position of love and purity, it will work out. And the hardest thing is the longevity, the waiting. Wait it out. And all that stuff is all BS and what happens to other people anyway. Focus on the love. And the other stuff just falls and you won't even care. You're an amazing dude, Jay.
Well, thank you, brother. Thank you. I'm hanging in there. Like I said, well, I guess I hit a soybean field now, and I hate soybeans, so I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, do you have some pizza coupons or anything you could send me? But you're out there in Normal, Illinois, right? So you can send me here. Let's put a Pizza Hut coupon because you're not going to be needing those in the next couple of days, right?
I might eat the coupons later.
The paper coupons, yeah. Well, anything for a Big Mac, send my way before you change your mind, okay?
Oh yeah, I think I'm in this. Like I said, I'm dead set on this. This is what needs to happen. I need to do this. It needs to take place. Someone has to step up for the veterans of our country, and if it be me, and if it be me, be the martyr for the cause. I really don't care at this point. There's a point where they push you to where it's like either I fight or I give up. And let me tell you, I was at that point where I was like, you know what? This is fight or give up here. And it's ultimately you turn around and you say, you know what? You went into this case knowing that you were right. You left the court knowing you were right. What happened in the meantime? And that's what I had to ask myself was what happened in the meantime for me to go, oh, I can't do this anymore. Or I don't know if I should keep fighting. No. You got to hit that point where it's like, I'm fighting, I'm all in, and this is how it's going to be. And yeah, I encourage everybody to get to that point, whatever it takes.
Yeah, Jay, that's a good point. And I'll just say this too. We all have those moments of self-doubt in this journey. We all do. Whether like, are we doing the right thing? Am I coming from the right angle? Am I really doing the best for my child, or am I hurting them? Like, is it really about this? Am I really focused on that?
Absolutely.
We all have those moments of doubt, don't we, Jesse? And it's about refocusing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say, at the end of the day, whether we're in this movement or, we're not in this movement, we as people, the only thing we have left is simply our integrity. That's it. The only thing we have at the end of the day is our integrity, our legacy, and what we leave behind. And if we can't even stand up for what's right and what's just, and to continue to fight for that in a righteous manner and in a rightful manner and in a lawful manner, we're no better than these judges that are ruling in our case. And Jay, I commend you. I mean, you are a hell of a guy, and I really do. Thank you for all that you do. Not just for veterans. I'm a veteran wife, so I'm not a veteran. But just thank you for all that you do, because you are the voice. So thank you.
Oh, well, thank you. That was sweet, and I don't know if I can live up to that at all, but that's okay. It's good to hear kudos, but I'm not going to let that one go to my head, because obviously we still got work to do. We still got a lot of work to do, people. And regardless of what happens with my case, and I've said this, I'll continue to say this until the day that I'm incarcerated, if that's what they want to do. This movement is bigger than Jay Moss. This movement is bigger than Bud Vino. It's bigger than Jesse Weiner. This movement is about our children. And there are millions upon millions out there that need you to be their voice.
Yep.
Well, and I'll say this. The unfortunate fact of this is we're in the middle of a war, folks, that unfortunately we probably won't see the end of in our lifetime. You know what I mean? We probably will not probably see the realizing of our, you know what I mean, in terms of this movement and the fight for parental equality worldwide. So that in mind, Tony Montana quote, the only thing you have in this world are your word and your balls, right? So you got,
absolutely. You're absolutely correct.
Your word is all you have.
Well, yeah, that's exactly true. And I believe Neil Shelton said it the best. He said, I don't fight in this movement so that I can become someone great. I fight in this movement because I don't want to exist any longer in this movement, because I don't want to exist. I don't want this to have to exist. That's the whole point behind this movement is we've got parents fighting for their children. We got parents fighting for equal rights. Equal rights, people. African Americans have equal rights. Women have equal rights. LGBT, alphabet group, I don't want to care what you want to call yourself. It doesn't matter if you have a penis, vagina, or both. I don't care. What matters is you have equal right. Guess what? Parents don't have them.
They don't.
Parents don't have them.
They don't. And I'm sorry, but the whole feminist movement and these women on their fight for they're not on a fight for equality, they're on a fight for supremacy is at the backbone of the hindrance of equality for both parents. So, you know, I know I'm a female, so I'm going to put it out there like this. You can have a movement of equality if you still want someone to open the door for you. I'm sorry.
Right.
I'm sorry.
Well, I think we go to extremes, right, guys? And I think we do a lot of times want it both ways. You can't have it both ways. I mean, you know, I'm all for equality. I think it gets started. You know,
that's equality of convenience. Equality of convenience doesn't
work. Right. No, it doesn't. Yeah, exactly. Where it suits you, right? No.
Right.
Absolutely not. It doesn't work that way. Ted, I see Ted looking in. Ted, you have something you wanted to let us know? Our producer is looking in, and people might not be able to see that. And I saw Ted's eyeball. Oh, there's Ted.
We have another caller that just called in if you want to take it.
Yeah, brother, I'll let you guys take this call. I'll let you guys take this call, and I'll go ahead and hang up. But you guys have a great evening.
Jay, it's good to talk to you. I know I've been really.
We love you, Jay.
All right, love you too, man.
Jay.
Hope you're doing good, Jay. All right, so 0648, you're on the Far From Normal Live.
Yo, who we got here?
Hello?
Yes, Bud Vino with Far From Normal. Who's this?
Oh, this is Edmund again. I'm back.
Oh.
I was going to say that name. The voice is awful familiar. I'm like, well, this is Dave. I'm like, Ed Wells, a disgusting talent. It feels like we just spoke to you. We did.
Yeah.
This is a new format, so we're funneling calls in a different way tonight. So I know Ted's other.
If you want to get two at a time, somebody else called in. I think they've been waiting for a while.
Well, put them in. It could be. Yeah, we don't want to keep them on.
All right, I'm not 100% sure. At 5587, you were on the show, and I believe 007. Yeah, 5587.
87 is the number of Sidney Crosby of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Hello.
Hello?
Yes, number 87. Who am I speaking with?
Well, this would be Eric again. How you guys doing again?
This is the end of this is the part of the show we call recycling. This is the recycling part of the show. This is called the Far From Normal Rehash Rewind. Yeah, so
that's right. I'm even worse, regurgitated for the second time, so you don't want to hear me.
Yeah, I hear that. Yeah, well, hey, thanks for coming on again. If we didn't get to say that to you the first time, Eric.
Hey, I'm honored. I'm honored. You know, third time would be a charm, man. But all right, take care, guys.
Thanks, honey. Bye-bye. Well, Jesse, actually, you know what? If we can get another caller and Ted, cool. If not, we can. We'll do the exits because it looks like we only have about 10 minutes left.
Right now, it's you guys and Edmund. So,
yes,
have at it.
All right. Awesome.
You know, thank you guys. I've been listening. You know, this was a great show. I kind of was in and out when I heard Ted. Not Ted. Jay was on. You know, I commend him in his actions. I hope that he takes care of his health first and foremost, and then continue on, you know, progressing with the movement and the message that he's trying to bring. Ted, thank you so much for having me on. Bud, my man, well, we're going to definitely link up. And Jesse, you know, we'll talk about the shirt. But, yo, guys, I love what you guys are doing, and thank you so much for helping me bring this forward. You know, we all got to deal with our demons, and we all gotta, you know, we got a community that we have to lead and show, and you know, I wish you all the best for that.
Awesome, Ed. That's awesome, Ed. The number one disgusted dad, Ed Welch. We love you too, brother, and we are gonna meet soon. There's just certain things and certain people you meet in life you're drawn to for a reason, and for me, Ed Welch is definitely one of them. Looking forward to it, brother. It's just inevitable.
Yes,
it's like the sun coming up in the morning. You can pick all you want, but it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. That's one thing. It's like family law reform. It will be. It's going to happen. So, well, you know, we can just take it easy and have fun getting it done. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, we love you, Ed, and you have a good night. Thank you. And what we're going to do at this point, I will let Jesse, because we've got a few minutes here. I'm going to let Jesse do her exit here because we've got about looks like about 9 minutes left, Jesse. So, what would you like to say to end this awesome show?
Repeat that again. What would I what?
I said, what would you like to say to end this awesome show? Because we got about 9 minutes left.
You know, I'm truly inspired by Ed's fight. I know it's been a long one. I appreciate that he's picked such a powerful message. You know, trusted dads. That's really the way I feel about this system each and every single day. I may not be a dad, but I'm so overly disgusted by the lawyers, disgusted by the judges, disgusted by our government, disgusted by our legislators' inability to follow through with legislation, disgusted by my Florida governor, Rick Scott, who has failed on multiple times to sign presumptive equal time sharing into legislation despite overwhelming support. I'm just disgusted by the CPS system. I'm disgusted by the bias in the courtroom. I'm disgusted by it all. I am, on the other side of that, though, I'm very hopeful for a change, a new culture, a new sounding board, a new approach to our system, the restoration of our constitutional right to be a parent, to be an equal parent, and yes, that means equal time sharing, and for less government and more constitutional protection of our Constitution. I'm so thankful for this show and for my husband and my family. I love each and every one of you, and I may not have had the fortunate opportunity to meet every one of you, but I promise you, if you reach out to me, I'll take the time to say hello, because that's the kind of person I am. Thank you for everything that you guys do, because you're the reason I still fight in this every single day.
Awesome, Jesse. Well, it's been 2 hours, everybody. Unbelievable. Well, I'm going to end with this. As Jesse was speaking, I've heard that, I've seen them email. Sometimes you got to get knocked down lower than you've ever been to rise up higher than you ever were. So those people out there that are knocked down right now, how's that Balboa quote go? It's not about how hard you hit, it's how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward, because that's how winning is done. If you know what you're worth, go out and get what you're worth. But you've got to be willing to take the hits and not pointing fingers, saying you're not where you want to be because of him or her or anybody. Cowards do that, and that ain't you. You're better than that. And I'll end with this in the quote of our very loved and very missed leader, Jay Moss. You are loved. You are important. You are cared about. We love you. Far from normal. Catch us next 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time Tuesday. Much love, guys. We love you. Far from normal. Thank you to everybody